Two new court orders impacting the financial, or I should say the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's data and operations continue to put the federal watchdog agency's future in doubt. And Sharon Epperson is at the table this morning. She joins us more on what the effect could be for consumers. So what does it mean?
Well, you know, it means that the Trump administration has effectively closed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau by firing workers and halting the agency's work. Now, Republicans have long opposed the agency. It was created in 2011 in the aftermath of the financial crisis, and the CFPB was designed to be an independent agency, receiving its funding from the Federal Reserve, not Congress. Trump has said he wants to eliminate the CFPB because of waste, fraud, and abuse, although no evidence of those allegations has been offered. The law that created the CFPB assigned it specific regulatory responsibilities, including supervising financial firms, responding to consumer complaints about financial products and services, and enforcing consumer financial protection laws. In testimony last week, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said there's no other regulator to make sure banks are following these laws, not deceiving consumers. Yet, uncertainty about the future of the CFPB has put agency rules in doubt, including actions to cap overdraft fees, limit credit card late fees, bar medical debt from appearing on credit reports, and overseeing payment apps. Some efforts to dismantle.
That's crazy. So if the CFPB goes away, whatever the case may be, right? The cap on overdraft fees, as you can see, the cap on credit card late fees, the medical debt that's supposed to be off reports, all that is going to be reversed, as you can see. That means medical debt can be put back on credit reports, the credit card late fees and things like that. We're still going to have those specific fees, whatever the case may be, and the overdraft fees that they had or got done away with. Now it's going to be put back in place. Hey, a lot of people's going to be upset. Let me know what you think in the comments, right? Like, how do you feel all about this?
Until the CFPB, though, are now on hold, at least for this time. A judge's order on Friday blocked Trump officials from terminating more employees, deleting CFP data, or transferring agency funds at least until March 3rd, when another hearing is scheduled. Yet in another ruling on Friday, a federal judge granted Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency access to systems containing personal information and data at the CFPB and two other federal agencies. Musk publicly cheered this decision, and we're likely to see more lawsuits and court decisions that will ultimately determine the fate of the CFPB. Andrew.
If all of this gets wrapped up, though, inside Treasury or some other department, and I don't know if it gets broken up or what happens, is it possible that I think people inside the Trump administration would say, to the extent there are good parts to the CFPB, we're going to continue those things inside these other places. And so you shouldn't just look at the department's disappearance as somehow its disappearance. I'm just making that's the argument they'd make. What do both the critics say, and what do folks on both sides say?
Well, I think the critics say that there's been just overstepping by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and that some of these regulations that need to happen can continue to happen, whether that's through OCC or other organizations. But there are people who are saying that the work that the CFPB has done since its inception, the $21 billion that through enforcement and supervisory work, consumers have been able to get back from financial abuses, there's a system set up that allows that to happen that cannot easily be replicated.
This thing's toast.
It is toast. The question is, are there component parts of it that you ultimately want to keep?
Out of all this might have had the biggest bullseye on its back out of all the
It has had from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Outside of USAID.
Right. Even more, I would think. Elizabeth Warren's, pet project. That's all you need to know. That's all some people need to know.
Well, the other question is, does it disappear under this administration, somehow find a way back?
Yeah.
4, 8, or however many years later.
But then what happens to all the data that they've collected, the enforcement things that they've done? I mean, that's the big concern, and the access that now those will have to that information. What will be done with that? All of those questions are ones that still remain to be seen.
Check this out.
Man, I have so many different questions. You probably have so many different questions as well. But I feel like you do need somebody to overstep sometimes, because these banks, these corporations, these businesses take advantage of people too much when it comes to, we already know when it comes to the money, right? So I do think CFPB, we do need somebody to overstep their boundary, because people are getting taken advantage of. people not doing their specific jobs. Oh, you need somebody to be like, hey, tighten up, fix this, hey, make sure you do this. I feel like, hey, that's very important when it comes to the consumers. And this judge right here, let me show you really quick.
A National Treasury Employees Union has filed a new lawsuit trying to prevent the Trump administration from shutting down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. CBS's Natalie Brand reports this is the latest federal agency that Trump's trying to close in an effort to slash the size of the federal government.
Thousands of federal employees returned to in-person work this Monday, but the government's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been ordered closed. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency posted on social media, CFPB RIP. Some Republican lawmakers applauded the move.
The CFPB has been out of control for some time. The way it's designed, I think, is unconstitutional. It has no oversight. It's been basically a reckless agency that's been allowed to go way beyond any mandate that I think was originally intended.
Congress established the Independent Watchdog Bureau in the wake of the Great Recession of 2008.
That crash was caused in large part by subprime predatory lending that happened all across the United States.
Dennis Kelleher, president of the advocacy group Better Markets, says since its creation, the CFPB has been a key ally for consumers.
In just 14 years, that agency has returned over $20 billion to more than 200 million ripped off Americans in all 50 states.
The move follows similar Trump administration actions to try and make cuts at USAID, the Agency for International Development, which helps distribute foreign aid.
Friday, a federal judge blocked the administration from placing more than 2,000 staffers on administrative leave until at least February 14th. In a separate case, a federal judge hears arguments in Boston today on the administration's buyout offer presented to around 2 million federal employees. The White House says the offer still stands with a midnight deadline, while unions argue it's unlawful. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Man, we just gonna have to wait to see what happened. Of course, I'm gonna keep you updated every week to see what's going on with the CFPB. But I just feel like Trump, everybody has their different agenda, right? Trump has his agenda, Elon Musk have their agenda, but nobody's really taking account for the consumers, right? Of like, how is it gonna actually affect them? Especially if the CFPB is gone forever. Nobody's going to hold these people accountable, these banks, these corporations. I think it's going to be the wild, wild west, and everybody's going to get away with a lot of things. So that's just my thoughts. Hey, let me know what you think in the comments.